Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL One Manila. We're here in the grand finals. TNC facing off against Mineski Esports, and you know what? I cannot tell you how freaking excited I am for this one. I'm Lyrical Dota, joined today by Scant. Sir, how are you doing? We're here. We've been able to make it through all these other qualifiers, through the quarterfinals, semifinals, and we're finally in the grand finals. And could it have gone any other way? My God, they're picking quick.
Radiant team pick.
Enchantress.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
Mm.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick.
Vengeful spirit.
Radiant team pick.
Hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I was agreeing with you. Yeah. Hello, are you still there? I feel like we're cutting out back and forth. It's all good. I feel like we're cutting out a little bit. Again, sorry out there, everybody, if
10
we do end up
seconds
having
remaining.
problems throughout the whole course of this broadcast. I'm casting from Oregon, Scant's
5
casting
seconds
from
remaining.
Australia, I believe, and then we've also got people playing in the Philippines. So it's a real worldwide
Reserve
adventure
time.
that we're going on right now. But yeah, I completely and totally agree with you.
Dire
Like
team
what you're
pick.
talking about there, the sort of changing of the guard, as it were, the ability of these new teams to come in and make their presence felt and really set the stage for the way that Dota is maybe going to get played moving into the next international and more intimately as well the next major. We've got Manila coming up in just a little bit, and this is sort of the preview for it. ESL One Manila. This is going to be a huge tournament with a lot on the line, and the
10
all eyes
seconds
turn over to the jewel of the Southeast Asian Sea, if you will.
Radiant
It's going to be a
team
pretty
pick.
interesting one. But looking at the drafts so far, the picks have been coming pretty quickly, and we were talking a little bit beforehand. TNC, they had a best of 3 earlier this evening. How much is that going to affect them? It feels like both teams know what the drafts are going to be going into this somewhat, but the Spirit Breaker is a little bit odd to me. Can you enlighten as to what it is that TNC see in this hero? Yes, I can.
10 seconds remaining. 5
Oh
seconds
my God.
remaining.
All right, sounds good.
Reserve time.
Hmm. Well, and I like that a ton, and it felt like, particularly against the Nature's Prophet, this is another thing that I've noticed is in the later stages of this game, that hero can completely dominate with just his mobility very, very quickly. And I really think that one of the answers to him in the late stages, I saw this a couple of times when the games went really late, was a Spirit Breaker charging him down, and then you have TP Boots level 2 from the other heroes in the game. And obviously that's like super duper late game because you're not going to be rushing that on anybody. But when you do get to that late stage, it's Nature's Prophet is such a hard hero to control and bring into the fold. And when you end up being able to have something
10
like that
seconds remaining.
Spirit Breaker charge that's consistently following, it makes the hero a
5
lot
seconds
easier to at
remaining.
least have an idea of where he's at, not even if you necessarily end up committing fully with the charge, but
Dire
Now we're seeing
team
this
back.
Lycan picked up. This is a lot of early aggression coming out from Mineski. I'd still be a little bit worried about it for TNC here, maybe.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary. I mean, you look at the lineup right now. Lone Druid, obviously a pretty tanky, bulky guy in lane, but once you get past that laning stage, he doesn't offer a whole heck of a lot of D-push. Like, the best thing that you can really commit is a Savage Roar to get people to run away from you, so that way you can get out of lane before they kill you. But even that's a little bit sketchy when you've got things like
Radiant
Sprout
team
coming
back.
out from Nature's Prophet, or likewise the, Bongos coming out from the Witch Doctor. Then you've got Spirit Breaker who can fight and brawl but doesn't push waves. Vengeful Spirit, you can lower armor. Like, there's just not a lot of wave clear from TNC, and I feel like that's more often than not what you need when you get these necro books up online for like, and when you've got all those enchantress creeps. It's going to be really difficult with all of that howl damage coming out.
Invoker.
Okay.
Radiant team pick.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make this work. That's no problem at all. We'll take care of this, and we'll provide you guys out there wherever you are in the world some good entertainment. So go on ahead, restart your computer. If you do manage to be able to load back in, then that's fine. If not, then you can hop in for game number 2. We'll work it out, and I'll just stay on here as well, so that way I can see if you do manage to pop in. He's going to be back very shortly, I'm sure. So yeah, like we were talking about, the fact of the matter is that I really feel like this lineup right here, you've got Nature's Prophet with the Trance, you've got Enchantress with all of her creeps that she ends up summoning, Lycan with the howl damage, the wolves, the necro books that are going to come up, and then to follow all of that, you've got this Puck here control. All of these things are really going to end up supplementing each other extremely well. Does look like we're getting a little bit of lag, but never fear, Dota 2 will still be here. Teehee is going to be playing the Invoker for TNC. It's going to be AU on the Doom, as well as Winter G Small Sun on the Vengeful Spirit. The Doom did just end up TPing on out of there. It's also going to be Sam playing the Spirit Breaker, and last but not least, Raven on the Lone Druid. More often than not, that's a safe lane player for them. We'll see if they end up trying to go for something like an aggro tri-lane. It is somewhat of a possibility, although if you think about it, Spirit Breaker is more about getting in there and just causing complete and total devastation and mayhem, as opposed to actually trying to lane against a tri-lane. He's about being able to run in and find kills. So we'll see if that is indeed what they want to go for, if they want to go for the more standard, just trying to mess around a little bit with other people. Jesse Vash is going to be on the side of Mineski. He's on the Enchantress. We've also got Ben-Hur, who's going to be playing on the Puck. Over here to the top side, Jules is going to be playing the Witch Doctor. We also have Raging Potato on the Nature's Prophet. He's played this throughout the past couple of days in these qualifiers and really made his sort of his own, this hero. Liar Lay is going to be playing the Lycan. And that's going to do it for the side of Mineski. Looking like they're just going to trade off these runes fairly quickly, and everything should end up being fine. This one, I think the other thing that maybe could end up helping TNC, like the big issue is, can they keep them off of their towers? Can they hold their towers? And if we do see TNC get off to a really good laning stage, it's not going to be as big of an issue as other people might think. So I like the idea. It'll be pretty interesting. All right. Well, Jules, meanwhile, does have his Observer Ward, going to place that down, and does look like everything's going to be fine. The boots out there, as well as a Fairy Fire on the Enchantress. So not a whole heck of a lot of regeneration in terms of the mana side of things, but she's going to come on in here and just try and mess around a little bit and just go for a couple right clicks. 380 movement speed is so ridiculously hard to deal with. 80 more movement speed than the Venge. And is actually going to go for blocking out that camp right there. They might have just done that to potentially just make sure that this wasn't going to get taken. So pretty cool. The chase down is going to continue right now. It does look like they're going to end up being able to do a little bit of damage to Jesse Vash. Also, Raging Potato needs to be somewhat careful. The right clicks are still going fine for the moment, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Still trading a couple of hits, and yeah, we're good to go. Jesse Vash making a little bit of damage coming. He actually ends up going for the Nature's Attendants, although they don't have the level 2 on her yet, so you need to be careful about that. Mid lane so far, Puck's been taking a little bit of harassment, but not the worst in the world. The chase continues over here by the Enchantress. She's actually out of mana, and 30 seconds on Attendants means that she's going to be forced out of lane. It's a little bit scary. Looking good. I want to make sure that the stream is in pretty good quality right now since we've already had these issues. Rotation comes in. Jesse Vash is here as well. They end up being able to force out the Ghost Walk, and that's pretty well worth it. You don't want to end up putting yourselves in a position where you end up getting killed off early, but likewise, it sucks having to commit that so early, the Ghost Walk. Oh, try to get the Creep Connect, but didn't end up quite working out. So Raging Potato is going to get a little bit more experience here. The double wave that's going to be coming out does mean that he is going to be able to pick that up, and maybe even going to be able to get a couple of cheeky little body blocks. Lyrelay, Lycan, he's been able to build himself up to 8-1 in terms of the CS. Compare this to the Lone Druid, 9-0. Not really the worst in the world or the best in the world. The one thing that I do want to say is that you might end up putting yourself into a position, by the way, the Enchantress picks that up. It really sucks she had to go for Attendant. She is not going to be able to have as much impact as she would otherwise. Like, no creep at this stage in the game. She just got, like, pretty far aggressively out there, and because of that is, you know, I guess that the idea here, you know, I think that Jesse Vash might have actually just had this in mind, that this is the build that he wants to go, because otherwise you're just going to have the Doom eat the creep. So I'm wondering if he skilled up this way just because he wanted to be able to run in there and like mess around a little bit and right-click heroes as opposed to actually trying to do any type of real jungling. But she doesn't manage to pick up level 2 now, so gonna get the Hellbear Smasher and should be able to jungle away for a little bit at least. That's pretty fine. Back to the side, AU takes a creep, gets himself a little bit of magic resistance. That sucks that that ends up adding onto there, because he wants to use Devour. Like, you need to be able to use it, but at the same time, if you're using it, as the right clicks continue to come. Actually, Jesse Vash is stuck behind here. They end up being able to have the Hellbear Smasher, realizing that something could have gone wrong. They're going to run away. AU, they were baiting that out right there. They wanted him to rotate in, so that way the Enchantress could run around the corner there and find the kill potentially. But still, this has left the lane fairly open for this Lone Druid just to have a heyday. 16-3 versus the 14-2 of the Lycan. In the mid lane, this is really the big difference of the matchup. You have this Invoker who's 9-1 versus 19-11. Like, Ben here is just completely dismantling Teehee. This is such a freaking hard lane for him right now, and I don't think it's necessarily that it should be. Oh god, up here in the top, Raging Potato dropping low. They end up being able to get the Savage Roar to break the TP. Spirit Bear a little bit low, but I think that they end up finding this kill. Maybe one last hit. He ends up TPing away. Oh, on nothing. Nature's Prophet escapes. Like, it's just ain't no thing. Oh, what a good play right there. And it looked like with the Savage Roar he was going to be able to find him, but it just didn't end up working out that way. And the other thing is that, you know, Jesse Vash is able to soak up a little bit of experience in the side. Still no deaths at this point in the game. Everybody playing it very close to the chest. Again, this is going to be a best of 5. So, you know, winning the first game gives you a tremendous amount of momentum. We'll see how it ends up working, but as far as the last hits and eyes go, you can see, you know, just by virtue of the Puck, the fact that he's gotten off to such a commanding start. Like, he's level 5, Invoker's level 5, but you look at the net worth difference, and he's fairly significant. About 600 gold at this stage in the game means that that Blink Dagger is going to be coming several minutes earlier, and then you start roaming around the map. You've already got the DPS from the rest of your team. Like, it's going to be so difficult for TNC to stop this. It's just going to be a tremendous amount of push, and you can start to see like already the being able to miss the kill there, as Invoker does end up going down to the Puck with the rotation from the Enchantress, and I feel like I might have spotted a wild Scantor. Are you back around, Mr. Scant?
I think so. I mean,
okay.
I'm hoping I don't get another crash. See, I have kind of, yeah, basically I need a new PC, but I'm from the developing world. This is why I'm interested in Southeast Asian Dota, by the way, because they are too. It's kind of like, you know, brothers in development.
That's cool. So but are you in the game right now as well? You can see what's going on? All right, wonderful.
Yeah. Can
Cool.
you give me a recap of the last 5 minutes?
Well, Puck ended up just dismantling Teehee in the mid lane, basically. We saw his Invoker really suffer. Ben here was able to get off to about a 600 gold lead, about the 5-minute mark, 4.5-minute mark, and then he just ended up getting the kill on him with Jesse Vash rotating into lane.
That's a pretty significant deal. He's normally the one winning his lanes. I guess it maybe speaks to the fact that he plays Quaswex Invoker. I've almost never seen him play X-Ward Invoker, and Quaswex Invoker can kind of be bullied early on. But
Oh, up top, they've actually been able to catch on to AU, and he's just gonna die. So you think that the issue here is the Quaswex and the limitations of that?
yeah, it's a lot weaker in the lane stage. So if you recognize that that's actually the Quaswex Invoker you can push early on, whereas the X-Ward Invoker it's a lot more difficult to do.
Speaking of problems, Sam is just going to end up dying here, I think, in the bottom lane. They're actually going to be able to maybe kill off the Lycan, though. He's taking a lot of damage, and he is going to explode there to the EMP. So at least able to come in and clean up kills, which is the one nice thing. But I think pretty much anybody would have been able to finish off the Lycan there.
Yeah, there's something almost greedy about the fact that they ran Quaswex Invoker for T, and it sounds strange because normally you'd think X-Ward is the greedier build, but T is a player who really thrives on dominating his lane, and he also thrives on making rotations around the map early on. And I think that the Quaswex is better at running around the map, but it does actually weaken your lane stage, and if the enemy team takes advantage of it, you can be in trouble. They're going to try and charge onto now, but this is going to be a difficult kill to make.
It does look like they're going to be able to get that just jaunt away, and no such luck in terms of being able to get it. It looked like they might have been thinking about trying something on the Lycan, but yeah, it's sort of one of those things with that last pick Puck where he provides so much for the side of Mineski, a very unkillable hero in the mid lane, so then Spirit Breaker can't really do a lot. Like, it's just, there's so many problems with, what this draft is bringing to them. You can already see Raging Potato here is just pressuring so quickly. They end up being able to break the charge with the Dream Coil. Oh man, this is a problem. Jaunt forward, Sam's gonna get silenced and just gonna get sprouted in as well. All of the creeps are going, they're going to have a Hurl Boulder in a second, actually 18, but it doesn't matter. They're still gonna be able to find this kill, I believe. Possibly close, question mark, can they kill him? They throw out the Illusory Orb and it's gonna finish him off. Jesse Vash is still chasing this Invoker with all of his creeps, but just needs to get them out of there for the moment, because my goodness, what a freaking start it is there for Mineski here.
Yeah, and this is there's a rivalry here, the teams know each other quite well, and it's something about TNC that I've praised a lot in the past, that AU's an extremely good drafter, and very often they try to win games in the draft, and this game I think Mineski have taken advantage of that, and really got draft advantage. Well, there might be a kill in the, no, there's no level 6 in the Doom yet, they can't get the Doom off, there's no level 6 in the Spirit Breaker, so Lycan just gets the ulti and run around.
He is just doing so much damage right here and still going to be able to get off the Maledict damage. Dropping fairly low, they throw out the Magic Missile, he does end up going down, but I think the Maledict is going to come close to killing off the Spirit Breaker potentially. They're running in, they actually end up being able to finish off the Witch Doctor, so both heroes dead down there in the bottom lane, and a little bit of just havoc all around. Things are going a little bit crazy.
That trade's a win for TNC though. I mean, they're significantly far behind in the game. They're not. I was just saying how it's really difficult for them to kill the Lycan, and it's a bit greedy of him to hang around and decide actually I'm gonna go for kills, because he's got to expect there's gonna be more rotations coming in. But yeah, going back to the draft analysis, I think that Mineski really got TNC's number here. They know that TNC want T to have a great laning stage. They also know that TNC like to be the team that assembles and pushes, and they kind of just preempt that by doing it themselves. AU's going to be gone at the bot lane. Yeah, he gets out just fine. He's got his Doom up now, so he'll probably be making use of that soon.
That was pretty close there.
Yeah. It's a very clever... Sorry.
It's just the damage that comes from this is like, it's so scary how quickly they're able to burst somebody down there. If he TP'd like a quarter of a second later, I feel like they would have just been able to kill him down.
Yeah, I agree with that. So it's Mineski with the upper hand for sure, regardless of the small positive trade that happened for TNC, and TNC gonna have to react to that. They're a team that can react to adversity, but it depends. I mean, if they're to lose 4 or 5 towers in the next 10 minutes, I think their game is all but over. So they're gonna have to do something to, adjust the dynamic of the game fairly soon in the next couple of minutes, win a small important skirmish or take a tower themselves.
Well, you said there that, level 6 now up on Doom. Venge doesn't have swap yet. Is this something where you need to wait for those levels before you can make a move, or is it good enough just to maybe have the Doom and try and get a high priority target like the Puck potentially?
Yeah, they've got the Doom ulti and the Spirit Breaker ulti, and I think those are actually the key ults for making a play.
Okay.
So I think it's more now about the positioning. Waiting for an opening where they can outnumber Mineski, or Mineski can't be prepared for them. Like right now, if the Lycan and the Nature's Prophet were showing a lone bot, they might have gone, but with the Witch Doctor there, it's just like a no-go completely.
Hmm.
And I think that's like the right decision making from Mineski. Keep the Witch Doctor protecting there. The Puck's kind of self-sufficient because Doom doesn't have any way to jump onto Puck yet without, I don't know, maybe an invis rune. And actually Puck and Enchantress go for kill of their own. Keeping proactive, keeping one step ahead of TNC, which is what they've been doing so well this game so far.
Oh, and they're pinging right out where he is. There's going to be the rotation on in as well from the Nature's Prophet, and all of this right-click damage. They end up being able to get the Savage Roar off, but he is still going to die. The Jesse Bash gets the kill. Chase is going to continue now. Puck has to go for the phase shift. They end up being able to get the Wave of Terror as well. There's the Nether Strike to finish him off, though, and all of a sudden, Mineski in a little bit of trouble. Raging Potatoes dropping low. They throw out the Shockwave. That's going to connect and kill. It looks like Doomed Up Enchantress still fairly fast, but can't pop those Magic Wand charges. They are going to charge in and going to be able to get the body blocks here. This should be a dead hero. He ended up throwing out the Cold Snap. They're all there. 3 are dead for the price of the Lone Druid. It does really hurt losing the Lone Druid there, but I think that's worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And I talked about Mineski being one step ahead all game, and this is an example of TNC being one step ahead. Well, I think they figured out firstly that Mineski is a team that likes to go for those kind of kills, but also suddenly Puck's not in mid lane in a game where Mineski's so far ahead. It can only mean that he's gone for some rotation, and that's why the Lone Druid was playing so defensively, hiding behind the trees, saying to his teammates, I think they might be ganking me, and everyone's ready to TP in, and that's where you get the numbers advantage. So, I mean, it's still a tower, actually looks like 2 towers for Mineski, so it's not like they're behind, they're still definitely substantially ahead.
Oh god, yeah, and now Raven as well. I don't think that they find this kill here. Might be overextending a little bit. They need to escape right now because this is going to be a huge problem. They throw out the Dream Coil to try and get out of there for the Puck, but he still doesn't end up going down. The Witch Doctor ultimate is going as well. They end up being able to swap that back out, trying to find another kill here. Lycan already brings down the Lone Druid, and now just right-clicks abound it. G Small Sun, he's going to die. Oh god, and now Sam is also going to end up going down potentially. Was able to charge out of that Sprout, but I think that they might be able to chase him down here. Is it quite enough damage? The impetus shot, oh, he runs back to make sure he doesn't take the full damage. Jules was ready to chase him into Fountain, but my god. And you mentioned there the TPs to the top lane. It feels like as soon as they saw that with the 2 heroes that were committed there, they were able to spring all the 3 of the rest of them and start pressuring now the tier 3 tower at 13 minutes.
Yeah, and charge in, I'm not sure about this from Sam. But looks like Mineski are gonna retreat. I think that TNC needed to recognize after they TP'd top and got those 3 kills, like, okay, this means we've lost 2 towers in the bot lane. But because they refuse to accept that they've just lost 2 towers, they lose a bunch more heroes and they lose a 3rd tower as well. Because I mean, as I said, even though it was good for them to get 3 kills for 1 in the top lane, they need to accept that the dynamic of the game is definitely not shifted. That wasn't a dynamic shifting fight. That was like a, you know, they're still the ones being on the defensive. They're still the ones being pushed. They don't have direct answers to deal with Enchantress. They don't have direct answers to deal with Lycan. I mean, there's 3 heroes, the Enchantress, the Lycan, and the Pack, which are all very difficult for them to kill right now. And they're going to blow the Doom on one of them, and probably that's how they'll kill it. But the other ones are still going to be an issue. They kill the Pack in that fight because they get a lucky root with the bear to start it off. That's pretty much the only reason they kill Pack.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of harkens back to that. It's so hard to nail down this hero, and he's really been the tempo controller. For me, at least, Ben here has been kind of the MVP for the side of Mineski. He was able to, you know, jump in there, get the solo kill on the Invoker in lane, and then later on able to, you know, make plays. They are going to jump right into him. Does end up being able to catch 3 there in the Tornado. EMP is going to connect onto 2. Meanwhile, that does look like the Lycan's going to end up going down. The charge goes forward, actually able to break it off there. He's still alive for the moment. How is he still living through this? Just right-clicking with the Vlad's, or he's going to be able to survive. He's literally killing Sam down, and it looks like on the other side, everybody else from the side of TNC is dying. They're going to be able to get the body blocks off on the bear. Savage Roar or not, he's still going to end up going down. Maybe the poof is going to be broken, but they're going right into Roche. Oh, wow, that really hurt.
Yeah, and Enchantress's heal plus the Vlad's already did a lot of work there, and it's, I mean, you can see TNC were in 2 minds. If they commit more while the cask is coming at them to try and finish the Lycan, they could end up all dying. So they want to commit only as much as they need to, but they end up judging slightly incorrectly, committing slightly too little. Don't even get the Lycan kill and end up dying anyway. So again, as per most of this game, the traffic is in one direction favoring Mineski, and I think there's gonna be a point very, very soon in the next 5 minutes where Mineski go for almost like a game-ending push, either for both the mid towers or for the Rux, the bot lane. And it's gonna be pretty decisive if they succeed or not. If TNC find a way to hold, even against an Aegis, well, that would be some kind of miraculous, like, congratulations to them, and they'll probably be back in the game. But I think it's be very, very difficult.
Radiant's middle
Well, this is something that I feel like it's really become sort of the predominant norm within the meta, is that you can sort of have about a 7,500 net worth lead with most type of lineups, and you're still not always out of the game, even if it's this early on, because what ends up happening is it doesn't translate all the time into a big significant item advantage, and you can come back into the game through team fights. But the problem that I see for TNC is that so much of the team fights from Mineski is just right-click damage from creeps, right-click damage from, you know, the Enchantress auras. You've got shockwaves that were thrown out, like all of these different sources of damage, and TNC don't have enough wave clear to stop it, and they also don't have enough D push to keep them out of their base, and it feels like they don't have the ability to fight at all.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to build into it, they're trying to get there, but they're nowhere close right now, and Mineski's knocking on the door immediately.
Oh, geez, there's the Maledict damage. Doom is dead. No commitment for that one. Now Jesse Bash gets charged, but still alive for the moment. Jerry Potato is going to be able to just walk away from that one. Oh, God, and Teehee goes down on the Invoker as well. Raven is off to the side. He doesn't have his Radiance up, but is going to be able to right-click down the bear. He's taking a lot of damage. He is going to be able to Savage Roar and then get away for the moment at least. Turn him back around. Sam dropping low, but not dead yet. It's worth noting that was a resummon on the Lone Druid Bear, so he can't afford to throw that away. Was able to keep it alive, but 2 heroes dead in a lane of Rax, and it doesn't feel like there's anything that can stop him.
Yeah, and it gets worse for TNC because the fact that the mid lane has these towers still up is almost a good thing for Mineski, because it means that they can go make a withdrawal from the ATM. As they push through the mid lane before they get to the racks, they're just gonna get an extra 1,000 gold, an extra 2,000 gold really, which I think will be pretty good for them. Just, you know, salt in the wounds of TNC, because TNC are the ones who need that cash injection to suddenly get a few extra items and be able to defend, but it's not happening. I mean, if we look at TNC, what are advantages they might have in defending the high ground? Okay, they've got Doom, which could try and shut someone out. Last time Doom died so quickly. The Vengeful Spirit swap conditionally is good at defending high ground. You can put someone out of position, but it's a level 1 swap, and Mineski are so far ahead that if you swap that Lycan into the front, like, he really doesn't mind. He's got an Aegis, you know, chilled with me. That's perfect use of Aegis.
It really feels to me like it has to come back to this Invoker and just hitting a lot with the Tornado EMP combo and making the most of that one whenever they can. But honestly, like, I mean, Lycan just ate one of those. He's still got Aegis up. I think they're just going to take this tier 2 up top here and try and pressure into the top lane, and I don't know if they have enough damage to deal with this. The one thing that I will say is that Invoker does have a point in Exort, so he's got maxed out Alacrity in terms of the attack speed, which is really going to help a lot with this Lone Druid Bear. That's something that you can sort of fall back upon a little bit, is maybe in the team fights, because of all that bonus attack speed, Spirit Bear is going to be able to do some work, but he still doesn't even actually have his relic yet. I don't know. This is just it's so difficult for them to mount any type of comeback.
Yeah, I mean, he buys the relic now, but it's, you know, if he bought the Radiance now, and I don't know, maybe Spirit Breaker finished Blade Mail now, and Invoker finished what looks like a Maelstrom now, sure, but they're missing that gap. They're just not there, and they have to deal with Mineski right now.
Yeah, and Larley, he's waiting to burn through that Aegis right away. He's going to let it happen right now to the tower. He does end up going down there. Spirit Bear is still right up in his grill. They do end up being able to maybe get a little bit of control. They pull out the Dream Coil, though, and swap back. That's still going to be so much damage. Lycan actually is going to get controlled and killed off. Everybody from the side of TNC is still alive. Can they find anything here? AU trying to run away, taking so much damage. The Witch Doctor ultimate is going on to Teehee. Invoker barely alive for the moment. Jumps forward with the blink, followed up by that silence. That's going to be a kill onto him, and now 1-for-1 trade so far, but the tower is still falling so rapidly, and creeps are on the base on the other side. They're going to charge through onto Raging Potato. He's going to get controlled up ever so slightly. Ethereal jaunt back. Puck is still alive for the moment. They can't find anything else to follow this up. They do end up being able to catch Raging Potato in a Sprout. He's not going to end up going back to base. Can't TP out of there, but still able to get away on everybody else. And
yeah, they would have liked,
TNC
would have liked to have caught the Witch Doctor as well, and that's what Teehee went for. I think it's important that he uses buyback there. Unfortunately, they don't really get any extra value out of the buyback. If he had gotten an extra kill, it would have been worth it, because that's one of the advantages, that no matter what the gold lead is for the enemy team, if they're pushing your base, your buybacks are much more valuable than theirs, and so it's, you know, using what you can to your advantage. Doom now does finish a mech. I think Spirit Breaker, yeah, he's finished his Blade Mail. And there's going to be Radiance on the Lone Druid. So there are new tools for TNC in the next fight. I think really the key to surviving and keeping their axes up there, even though they lost the tower and nearly lost the range racks, is the Vengeful Spirit swap. They managed to burn the Lycan Aegis before using the swap. Then they're swapping in deep. And remember now, with the next push, there won't actually be an Aegis. So there's potential for TNC to say, okay, we swap someone in, we doom that person, and we can burst that person down. And especially if it's the Lycan, even though Mineski aren't completely dependent on the Lycan, it is sort of the centerpiece of their push, and it's going to make them maybe hesitate and think twice. So TNC actually deciding that they don't want to wait for the high ground, they want to get ahead of this momentum somewhat outside in the map, and if they succeed, this is really big. But sometimes these kind of smokes can be just game losing. If the smoke's a failure, they pretty much lost. That's it. So it's a gamble, but I think it's one maybe they need to take.
No, absolutely. I think that you really have to. And actually, it looks like Mineski is going to run right into him. I can't say that this is going to favor TNC. This looks like it could go really badly. I guess it does all come down to how initiation does start. They end up running right into TE. The Tornado EMP combo is actually only going to hedge onto the Lycan. He's already gone into ulti form. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage to AU. Witch Doctor ultimate does get canceled in the end, but I'm not sure if they're going to have enough damage to bring them all down. Actually, Larley dropping fairly low. It does look like Sam's going to end up going down. They're throwing out another catch. Can they find him? It does look they're going to be able to use up that Vengeful Spirit. The buyback on the Lycan, he's going to come party a little bit more with them, and Small Sun gets knocked down. This might be the moment.
He just raxed. Like, he didn't even come for the fight.
Oh my god, that is so terrifying. He's got Aghanim Scepter right now, by the way, and is about to pop his ultimate again, which is going to create a hell of a lot more treants. And again, the problem this whole game has just been TNC's inability to push out these creep waves. They're going to jump forward again with the puck, trying to do whatever they possibly can. That's going to be a ton of damage coming out onto this tower. Tier 3 fallen super rapidly, and it feels like this is about as close to over as it could possibly be. They are going to be able to get the Nether Strike on the Jewels. He hasn't actually taken any point in his heals yet, so doesn't have quite the sustain that they would want, but all of the treants are hitting the barracks. This is going to be a ranged Rax going down very, very shortly if they're not careful, and my god.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe one of the keys to that smoke being a failure is that the Doom didn't even have his Doom up yet, and he died with like 10 seconds cooling down on Doom, so it's difficult to imagine how, I mean, again, TNC were hoping that they'd find a few heroes and not everyone. But it really takes a big mistake from Mineski for that to happen. And the Nature's Prophet, as insurance, just TPs to their axes and says, look, we're probably going to win the fight, but even if we lose it, we're getting your axes. I think from this position, it's extraordinarily difficult to play as TNC. I think that you'd probably put like a 99-1 chance that the next push ends the game. And TNC, because they're just being professionals about it, it's gonna stay to the last minute, see what they can do. And look, if they were to, wipe Mineski a couple of times in a row, suddenly they're back in the game. But that's just, I mean, I feel like look at that. There's Necro 2 on Nature's Prophet, there's Necro 3 on Puck, and there's Necro 3 on Lycan. I think the Necros could finish the last tracks. Like, genuinely, if you just summon trees and like 6 different Necros and ran them in, and the wolves, your heroes don't even have to go in.
I think that's what we're about to see here potentially, is all of the Necros are going out. They're going to throw a couple of them, but that's 4 rounds of Necros right from the start. And yeah, the melee barracks is dead. They're going to end up going down here as well. Sam is trying to get as much damage as he can. Blade Mail doesn't reflect that Witch Doctor ultimate, and Maledict is going to kill him off in the end. They throw out another little illusory orb. GG ends up getting called, as TNC are going to get knocked down in game number 1 of these grand finals here. And it felt to me at least like this was a draft win. Scant, let me know what you think about it. Do you agree? Do you think that it was misplays on TNC's part? Could they have won this game?
No, I mean, maybe they could have, but I think it is for the most part a draft win. I mean, TNC are running a jungler, which is quite greedy. A jungler plus a mid laner that could lose 1v1 is, I think, extremely greedy, especially if your other support's Avenge, which is not really like that powerful in dominating the safe lane. So I want to say that it's a very big draft.